Okay, YouTubers, I've got a Mirka Ceros 650. It develops an intermittent fault like lots of other people's on the forums, but there's no videos on there how to fix it. I've just had a go at mine and managed to fix it. First step is remove this little pin, just tap it out, then this part will drop off. There'll be a little pin in here with a spring, remove it, turn it over the other way. You've got 4 security screws, which obviously you've probably already found, one there and here and the same the other side, but to get to those you need to take that little Allen key out. Obviously you've got to remove your pad first, which you'll use your 24mm spanner that came with the Ceros. So obviously your pad will be off, then you can take out those 4 bolts and that one just in there. You have to prise this off a little bit by bending it, but it does come off. What you'll notice is you won't still be able to get it apart because there's 2 screws which are hidden, and they're hidden under this, which is moulded on. I didn't know how to get it off. I'm sure perhaps if you heated it up enough you might have had a chance of sliding it away, but it was pretty tight, so I didn't care. My Ceros was knackered anyway, so I just made a cut all the way through like that and all the way back down here to this area. But if you're going to do that and you're cutting through, be careful here not to cut too deep because there's wires there. So just gently go to about this point, and then it's quite thick along here, so just keep going, and then here again just start being careful in this area. Right, so once that comes off, obviously it just opens out like that, and you can probably even see the little wires just in there. Look, that's the ones you've got to be careful of. Okay, so that's the only reason you're taking that off, is to get the last 2 screws out, so that you can then lift this panel off. And underneath the panel you'll find 4 screws holding a circuit board on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remove those, and then you'll find that there's a little like strengthener protector sleeve. You can slide that back without damaging it. Inside on the circuit board, I'm afraid I've put it all back together now and I'm not taking it apart again, but you can see there's a blue and a brown wire, so they're actually soldered in, and that's what it is. These little parts here, let's have a look, are crimped on, and then they're pushed into position, then soldered. So the first thing I did, so that I didn't damage any of the wiring, is I cut, while it was still all connected, just cut that off and then cut the other one off so that it released it from the circuit board, and then the circuit board's safe then. Obviously I then cut off this much of the wire that I found was my intermittent fault was coming from that area, just by wiggling the wire around all the time. I'm guessing that's probably 6 or 7 inches. And then just reverse everything, and you obviously cut about that much back. Just measure off what you've got here so that you know you've got your end up with the same amount, and you'll probably want about that much left poking through the protective grommet so that you can clamp it back in, and then just reassemble it as I did. and it all works. The only thing I'll have to do now is just come up with a way of perhaps keeping this together so that not too much dust can get into the machine. So I hope that helps. Good luck.